manual versus automated, human error versus consistency and safety, documentation through code, and version-controlled configuration management. I'm talking about Ansible. Mike here, and today I want to follow on from James's awesome video about Ansible Vault and give you an introduction to Ansible itself. So let's get on with it. Configuring systems manually is fraught with many dangers such as human error, inconsistencies, and many other pitfalls. If you've ever had the need to manually provision even a small network, then you'll understand the pain of missing just one small detail. Getting that one detail wrong can bring down the entire network. Not to mention finding that small detail is a pain in the backside. Not having a central point of truth when it comes to your configuration means that no one else within your organization or team knows what it is you've been doing. Doing things manually means that there's also very little oversight into what you're actually doing, and with the sort of mentality that comes with doing things manually means that eventually you're just going to be jumping straight into the command line on production, making changes, and let's face it, in past experience, those things are never ever documented. Don't worry though, because we've got a solution for you, Ansible. Ansible is about configuring systems automatically, which goes on to drastically reduce human error and other associated dangers. It's also about abstracting away configuration and making it into code, which means that it can be repeatedly used against thousands and thousands of servers over and over again. And the code that you do write can, and should, be placed in a version controlled system, such as Git, which means that other people can reference the code, they can clone the code, they can reuse the code, but they can also audit it and see what changes you've made. And after you begin writing the code, you actually start to gain documentation through that code, so you find that you gain much more visibility on what your infrastructure looks like. If, like me, you're a Windows user, then I recommend Cygwin, but you can also use the bash prompt that actually comes with Windows 10. That being said, I'm going to install Ansible in a CentOS 7 VM using Vagrant, so that I have a clean room in which to play around. After the installation is done, you'll have two commands at your disposal, Ansible and Ansible Playbook. The Ansible command is used for running ad hoc on-the-spot commands against one or more systems. It's very useful if you need to make an emergency change or resolve a very small kind of one-time problem. These are the type of commands that would just be a bit overkill for a playbook. As for the Ansible Playbook command, well, as the name implies, that's for running playbooks against systems. A playbook is a collection of commands that you want executed in order against the remote host. Playbooks can also include other playbooks and pull in roles too. They're essentially the primary means by which you'll configure your servers going forward. When we take a closer look at the Ansible Playbook command, we can see that this is where Ansible starts to get really exciting. Being able to chain hundreds of commands together and have them execute in order is exactly what Ansible is about. We even get a summary telling us what the results of the execution were, changed, failed, and so forth. Looking at the code in the playbook we just executed, we can see it's very easy to read and very easy to follow. The flow is what you see here, from top to bottom. That is, these tasks are executed in order, making it really quite clear what's going to happen. This is a simple playbook which is utilizing only a small subset of Ansible's features. Playbooks can be much more complex, bringing in external variables, asking the user for input via prompts, including roles, and so much more. Of course, you need a way to tell Ansible where your servers are and how to connect to them. This is where Ansible inventories come in, and there are three ways to provide Ansible with an inventory. All of them use the -i command line flag. One way is to provide a DNS name or an IP address, followed by a comma. This is a sort of ad hoc temporary inventory that's just provided on the CLI and then forgotten about. It doesn't persist in any way. The second option is to provide a static file, which contains IP addresses, DNS hostnames, and it can even be grouped and subgrouped. And the third way is to provide an executable file, which has to return a very specific JSON document, and that way you can actually dynamically generate an inventory on the fly, which Ansible can then use. And that is essentially Ansible in a nutshell. I hope this introduction has got you so excited about Ansible that you just cannot wait to show it to the team. Of course, if you have any questions, then please let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed the video, then please like and subscribe for more. Have a great day.